but once he got focused and once he started doing what the program tells you to do, once you get back on it and it's a daily, driving those KPIs, the man is making over $100,000 this quarter for first quarter, 12 deals last month. So I'm so happy and I'm so blessed because I get to see all of this.
Welcome to another episode of the Wholesale Elite Podcast. I'm Isham Hipshire, joined by my man Tanner Santucci, and in the house we are joined by Natasha Hammond. What's up, ma'am?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Oh, it's good. It's going very well. To some of us, you are a complete stranger, but to the rest of us, everyone knows who you are. For the small few who don't know who Natasha Hammond is, you're in for a treat today. We're going to be doing things a little differently. And so on most of our podcasts, we have either, wholesalers who are just crushing it right now, or real estate investors, buyers. We even have every now and again, we'll have, wholesalers who are fairly new to the game, who've had some success kind of sharing their story. But inevitably, 9 times out of 10, most of the people that we interact with are a part of this community, real estate community called AstroFlipping. And AstroFlipping is a community that Tanner and I are members of. We've said that word over and over and over again so much that we just decided, why don't we have the person who heads up the entire community of the Astro world on the show to talk about some of the cool things that you've, experienced and witnessed from, being the, what would you call yourself? Are you the administrator or?
So I'm a community coordinator. So I handle everything from behind the scenes to different events that we're creating and are happening, all over the place. But pretty much it's like I'm the go-to person when an Astro member has an issue or they're trying to connect or they're trying to just better themselves.
Absolutely. And another thing Natasha gets to see is the crazy amount of success stories that get posted in our group or get shared on our calls. We just had a wild one a couple days ago where shout out to Carlos and Courtney. They were telling their story about $150,000 deal that they're closing in on. And so she gets to hear all these things. And so we're like, you know what, instead of us just coming on and talking about it, I'd rather someone who's not known to be an investor or anything to come on and share their perspective of this amazing community that we're a part of. And so before we dive into your story, I just want to let everyone know, look, if you're curious about AstroFlipping, Tanner and I will share our stories at some point, maybe on this episode or whatnot, but just know that it's really life-changing. I mean, it is truly a life-changing community. It's not just the education piece. That's a very, very, very small facet to what the community does and provides. It's excellent. I'll let you know that right out the gate. Like the training alone is well worth the cost, but all the stuff you get on top of it that most people have no clue of until you get in and you're like, wow, this, like, you get all this too. It's pretty incredible. So we're gonna go all in on this. And before we get going, I want to ask you, Natasha, a little bit about your background, because I'm an origin story freak. I like to know where people come from, what makes you this happy-go-lucky, always smiling, optimistic person. But yeah, tell me a little bit about your background.
So I think that, and I absolutely love that you like to know the origin story, because I think that a lot of people who are actually truly happy or have found peace have been through quite a bit. Yes. And so yes. I'm one of those, right? I'm a martial artist. I've been a martial artist since I was 3. So I started in Taekwondo. So I have a very long lineage, long lifetime of just discipline and dedication and desire, right? For my craft, for everything. So I've been doing martial arts for over 35 years. Wow. everything from Taekwondo to MMA to everything, just bridged into kickboxing about 7 years ago. So I have that as a background. Family, image was super, super important. So that brought, a lot of perfectionism, just trying to perfect everything that I did along the way, which brought along a lot of unhappiness, right? So somewhere as I'm going along, God is definitely, at my core. He is the reason why I wake up every day. He's the reason why I lay my head down at night and I can sleep peacefully. God dropped it on me that, hey, you don't have to live that way. I didn't create you to be perfect. I created you to be you. And so only you can do what I need you to do and what I created you to do. And once I just decided, you know what, you're right. And it didn't matter what anybody else thought at that point. It was just like, I just need to shine and I need to be who I am, and as I've kind of gone along, it's been awesome to see that it kind of rubs off on everybody else.
What happened? I mean, clearly, and we won't get in too much on you, but what happened? Something happened to make you go from who you were before, this kick-ass Taekwondo martial artist, super focused, to something, happened to where God intervened, and now you're optimistic. Was there, before that, were you know what I mean? Were you kind of an angry person or upset or whatnot, or have you always been this way?
Never been an angry or upset person.
Okay.
But I have been through quite a long lineage of trauma. So I joined the Army and I was active duty and I was a medic. While I was in the Army, I was actually sexually assaulted. And so when I went through all of that, I went through a very, very, it was a downward spiral. We'll just call it what it is.
Sure.
I went through bouts of trying to end my life with suicide and just trying to get out of everything that I was in and trying to get away from, I apologize for that, trying to get away from everything that was happening to me or everything that had happened to me. The military didn't necessarily, because it was a higher up in the branch, it was very much trying to be swept under the rug. I was now the person who asked for everything and all of the targeting came to me. And so now that was all on my shoulders. And I was in a situation where I was hurt and I was afraid and I was just completely, I felt like there was no way out. I felt like I was completely, I was done. And through the counseling that I received, through everything that I started to kind of go through, like I said, I heard God speak to me one night and it was just, you're not done. You're not done. You haven't even begun to do what I want you to do. And the next day I woke up and it was like, okay, that fighter that I had been trained, that martial artist, that fighter that was there was like, okay, well, it's time to fight, and we're just going to fight a different way. So
that's it. That's incredible. Wow. All right. So you get to the point, I'm assuming you get out of the Army and, you move forward through life. At some point you got married and had kids, right? Tell me a little bit about your family.
So actually I was married when I was 18 and I had 2 children by my ex-husband. Again, like I said, I have a long line of trauma. There was a lot of physical and mental abuse there. And so, but I'm a survivor of that too. Got out of that, met my husband, who is amazing, in 2005. We were married in 2006. He's active duty Air Force.
Hey, Air Force.
So, along that line, my children are not little. They're 20, 18, and 15. So they are giants in their own right, off doing crazy things. My son is Air Force. He just joined. So he's in Florida. My 18-year-old, she's up in Seattle, Washington. And then my 15-year-old is a sophomore in high school. But yeah, my husband and I have been married 17 years. And so he's been in the Air Force that long, and I did my military career in that time. So you can imagine, what happened to me was within our marriage.
I see.
So he's played a huge role in my healing. He's played a huge role in everything that I am currently.
Shout out to Mr. Hammond. You're an awesome dude, man. And I don't know much about your husband. I definitely look forward to meeting him whenever our paths cross next, because just from your Facebook and whatnot, he seems like an awesome guy. So
he's phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, man, I love talking to nothing more than a survivor, because they have, to me, the right perspective. They've gone through a bunch in life, and they're not victims, they're victors. And those are the people that I just get inspired by. And so this is going to be fun. Well, let's jump in. I want to talk about the real estate stuff. How did Astro come about? Like, how did you find the community, Jamil? Like, what came first?
So we were living in Tennessee, Chattanooga, and my husband was a recruiter, and I was working for the military. So I was working for the military entrance processing station. I was working 16 hours a day. So I would drive from Chattanooga to Knoxville to and from every day. And that was an hour and a half each way. And I would do 10 hours when I was up there, and then, that 3-hour commute. So one night, my husband, we're surfing YouTube, whatnot. We've been following Jamil, seeing him, and all that kind of stuff, Jerry Norton, all them. And my husband says to me, he says, we need to buy this program. And I was like, I'm with you. I totally understand. Yes, AstroFlipping all the way. I just don't have time. And he was like, I think we should do it. And I was like, I think you're right, but I can't. So he purchases the program, and I get home 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I go to lay down, and I'm done for the day. I think I've been spent. And so he brings a desk over to my side of the bed and brings his computer and plays the AstroFlipping course while I'm sleeping. And he doesn't use headphones. He doesn't. He just plays it while I'm sleeping. So I am literally pulling like all of this information as I'm sleeping. And the way that he was checking if I was getting the knowledge was he would have conversations with me during the day, and he would ask me a real estate question, and then I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you mean like the A to B contract?" And then I'd look, and I was like, "Where did that come from?" And he was like, "It's working." So we believed in Astro so much and Jamil so much that we knew we needed to get to Phoenix. And so we prayed about it. We were just, all in and all about it, just going through the course, exercising what we're learning. And in the Air Force, you don't get to choose where you go, right? You have a dream list, and you can put where you'd like to go, but that doesn't mean that you're going.
Right.
So we put Phoenix at the top. And about 6 months before the end of his tour, we got Phoenix.
Hey.
And we were like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. That's awesome. I was like, okay, well, let's see if I can transfer with the military entrance processing station so I can get to Phoenix, get everything set up, And lo and behold, a medical position comes available in Phoenix at the military entrance processing station. So I moved to Phoenix 6 months earlier than him. And we let my daughter finish out her freshman year in Tennessee. And so I'm out here, but it's a toxic workplace. I'm going, I can't work here. This is just insane. I have headaches all day. This is horrible. And so my husband's like, well, why don't you quit? He's like, go apply at New Reach. And I was like, but I've been with this company for this long, and he's like, so what? And I'm like, so what? So I quit my job and I applied at New Reach so that I could be a part of AstroFlipping. And I became a member success advisor for AstroFlipping.
Wow. Now, what is New Reach for anyone that doesn't know?
So New Reach is the educational company behind AstroFlipping. So New Reach is actually the hub for all of the brands. So they host AstroFlipping and Sub2. So they're all under the same roof.
Interesting. I remember walking into I guess, yeah, the Astro office. And I mean, it's a gorgeous office. And is it Chandler? Is that or
Empty. Mhm.
Tempe? That's right, Tempe. Um, and just walking in this gorgeous, massive buildings, big glass doors and big windows.
Yep.
And I literally thought I was going to walk into some kind of a stuffy kind of corporate thing where you hear, phones ringing in the background and paper shuffling and maybe some mild laughter over here. But I walk in and it's like TVs are going off and there's big New Reach mural on the wall. And like, I didn't know what New Reach was. I was like, wait, am I in the wrong place? Like what's going on
Mhm.
here? And then I walk in and it's like fun town. I mean, they have there's like a meditation pod over there and like just all these stand-up desks and people sitting down and standing up and like pin the wheel, little spin board and all. There's just so much fun going on. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is fun. Like, this is what Keighley is all about in Astro and all. So anyways, I had no clue what New Reach was until that day. So I figured there may be some other people that don't know. All right. So you are in the community. You're working as a member success advisor at MSA. How long ago was that?
So that was June of last year.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, what made you? Because you went from a member success advisor to your role now, right? That's a different role.
Correct. So I had been straddling the line pretty much since I started, right? When I started, we needed someone to host Jamila's calls on Sundays. And, Sundays and the weekends being kind of tough and people wanting to spend time with their families. I volunteered because I was like, well, I'm on the call as a member anyway. I might as well just host the call, right? And that's how you get more information and that's how you learn.
That's it.
So I was like, I'll do it. So I was kind of a blended role from the start. While I was talking to our newer members coming on board and making sure they get through their first 60 days okay, I was still hosting the calls and in the community a lot until October when we fully transitioned me into a community coordinator.
I see. Okay. Man, that's it's interesting. So when it comes to Astro, guys, and by the way, I don't think I threw this out there earlier, but if any of you are curious about Astro, about joining, go to gotastro.com, GOTASTRO, gotastro.com, and you can just enroll and get some free information, and then someone will reach out to you, find out where you're at in your business, and see if it's a good fit. I will say, like the team, I always thought that I was going to get pitched, right? I always thought I was going to get some sales guy to get on the phone and, if you don't have the money, we can put it on a credit card, one of those kind of deals. And what I ended up getting on the phone. So first of all, so I joined last May, right? And my MSA is Noah. And like, I still know the name of the person who I spoke with, that long ago. That's how impactful and real these people are. Like they're real humans, and there's no agenda. It's not like, we just need you to sign on this dotted line and we'll keep following up. Like they legitimately, before, during, and after the transaction, stayed with me. And so it's very impactful. But let's talk Astro, because you've been doing this for a little while. And Tanner, by the way, dude, I'm sorry, I'm like dominating this conversation.
No, keep running with it. Keep running with it.
Jump in, cut me off if you got questions.
I'm listening.
So in the community, why Astro, in your opinion, Natasha, why AstroFlipping over other communities?
So our community, like you keep saying, is it's our biggest benefit, because when you learn all of the information, right, and you said it, it's not just an educational program. Yes, needing to know all of the information it's a must, right? You have to put the work in, you have to go through the program, you need to learn and build a great foundation, right? But our community is what is it's over the top, right? So everything from when you come in and you just introduce yourself to the community and you have people just jumping on you. I mean, just commenting on you, saying, hey, welcome, hey, I'm in this area. If you need help, reach out to me. If I'm in this, if I'm in that. A lot of other different, educational wholesaling pieces or whatnot. They say that they have a community where you can go and you can ask questions and this and that and this and that. But there is nothing like Astro. If you post in the AstroFlipping Elite Facebook group and you ask a question, you are going to get an answer. And it's not like you're going to be waiting days. It's not like you're going to be waiting, like there are multiple people chiming in and saying, hey, I have this experience. I had this experience. Oh, that happened to me the other day. Or, hey, reach out to me. Let's JV and let's go do it together. Let me walk you through it. And so because our community is more so a family, it's not just a community. It's not just some place where, oh, I'm just part of this Facebook group. Like it actually means something. People want to get face to face with you. People want to interact with you. If they could, they just hug you through the Facebook group, but you can't.
God, it's so true.
It's incredible.
There's one of the community or one of the Astro members named Raki Zidane. Raki, he's a guy that we had on the podcast before. I can't wait to have him back on, but he's become like a brother to me. Just a phenomenal guy. And, one thing about a lot of the communities, when people say they're helpful or whatnot, it's always good. But the concern a lot of the time is who is the help coming from? Usually people want to join a community and get help from the guy or the girl, the head person in the community. And if that person doesn't answer their question, they're like, I don't know if I want the answers from, anyone else. Well, some new person's just going to chime in and try and answer my question. I don't know, their validity or whatnot. Well, with Astro, you're going to get, the newish person chiming in saying, hey, here's what I've experienced so far. But what you're also going to get are A players answering those questions. And the reason why I mentioned Raki is because he's the guy. There's tons of them. There's, Paul and Michelle, Jacob Simpson and Tranna Bros. Like there's so many of these A players that'll jump in and answer questions along with newer folks. But, just to give you a little snippet of Raki, for example, Raki probably does 6 figures in deals a month himself and his company. He flips as well. He's a flipper. He's a buyer. Tanner and I went to sell him a deal a few months back, this random deal that came our way in Atlanta where he's at. These are the kinds of people that are in this community that engage with you, like real players in the industry, in the profession, real buyers, multi-million-dollar buyers, developers. There's people in our community that are there to help. And no BS, it is legit a community. I say all this because, it's challenging when you're really passionate about something because you can kind of come across, as just over, exuberant, and you seem kind of weird. But the reason why I'm so excited for this community and even why we did this podcast is because I wasn't expecting it. Yeah. I literally wasn't. I signed up for one thing and I got a family. Like I had no clue. I had no clue like all this extra stuff was going to come. But you know what that did? It lessened the stress. I wasn't worried anymore about how am I going to find a title company? Oh my gosh, what if I have a question about a title company? What if I need a buyer? What if I'm low on deals and I need more like what if I have this question and I need an answer right now because the deal's on the line and I can't wait for our call next, Tuesday or Sunday or whatever. We've got calls every day. Every day there's A players leading calls. And every single minute there's questions that are being asked and answered. And so I'm going to relax. I'm going to take a step back. But again, I'm super passionate about this group because I know that it can help anyone at whatever the level they're at in their business, whatever level.
Well, and then you say that too. And then you say like, you're expecting to learn from the guy, right? And so what we have too is we have a mentor that gets on with us and is with us on Sundays, like on your day off. And we're not just talking about an hour of his time. We're talking upwards of 3, for 5 hours on a Sunday, right? And we are going through and we are trying to answer as many questions as possible. He's worried about your mindset, trying to make sure that your head is in the right spot so that you can continue to maintain your positivity, while, helping you really just manage those own demons that you have. And then you've got the Tuesday call, which we call the marathon call, because that thing goes for 5 or 6 hours, So you're talking of upwards of 11, 12 hours a week that you get with the mentor of this program. And then you said, we've got calls every single day, Monday through Friday, 2 calls on Wednesday. And so we've got, and these are just members that are giving back to the community, that have learned and are making 6 figures a month, or are making, 5 figures and above each month on deals, and just trying to help other people replicate it and just be able to do it for themselves.
Well, I think the other thing too about the community that I think catches most people off guard, when people ask me about Astro, you come across paths of someone and they ask, how is Astro? How's this? How's that? I tell them, you don't pay for the education. You're actually paying for the community, because that's where the most value is. The education really is a bonus, in my opinion. And I think I would tell people also that in the community, there's a lot of humility. You get honest truth from people that are failing, people that are succeeding, where someone messed up, where someone could be better. And that's also the great thing about Jamil and all the calls, is he's honest with people. He will tell you how it is and what his thoughts are. He's not going to pat you on the back if you do something wrong and tell you good game. He'll tell you if you're doing something wrong, and he'll tell you how to fix it. And so I just wanted to piggyback on all the community talk, because I think that's the most important part of actually Astro. And that's where people have, I mean, you can speak, Natasha, as well, but I know Isham and I can speak personally, where we've done deals with Astro. Like, there's money in the community alone. So you learn how to build a business or grow a business and scale a business and do business, but also you build relationships. And ultimately in real estate, that's the biggest key. And so why not join a community that all loves each other, like you said, will hug each other through.
And 100%, right? Because our network is just so important, right? The connections that we make is just, it's priceless. It really is. And then, you have, Isham, you were talking about how I see people who go from, not so great, right? They're kind of struggling at the beginning, all the way to the success stories, right? And I've seen people do it in record time of 2 weeks. I've seen people do it in 2 years, right? And we're just talking about, we were talking on the Trana Brothers about Remy. Remy was on, and he off the bat, he got 2 deals when he first joined, and then 5 months of nothing. And he was honest with himself, hey, I decided I was going to do this different and that different, instead of trying to do the same thing over and over, right? And so then he didn't, but once he got focused, and once he started doing what the program tells you to do, once you get back on it, and it's a daily, driving those KPIs, the man is making over $100,000 this quarter, for first quarter, 12 deals last month. So I'm so happy and I'm so blessed, because I get to see all of this, and I get to see it behind the scenes and learn all the stories. So
look, I've got chicken skin. I don't know if I can hold Remy is awesome. One of the guys. There's so many people, and guys, look, we're going to go into some questions and some fun stories here in a second, but I know this sounds like a big love fest for Astro, but it is. That's the crazy thing about this. It's so weird. It was so unexpected, but Remy is my bro, man. Remy and his partner, Matt Schwenk, we reached out to them a little while back, not too long ago, but they were in our market at the time, and they were just kind of getting started. They reached out to us, and we gave them a little bit of insight and guidance. But then they took off, they took off with it, and you started seeing some consistency. Then you started hearing and seeing more about their business. And I was kind of scratching my head. I was like, these guys, I didn't see that coming. I thought it was going to take them a little while. For real, if I'm being honest. But Remy is a crazy testament to not even like anyone can do it, because I don't believe that, and I don't want to put that on Remy at all. I can't wait to have him on to tell his story, because he's got a fascinating one, I'm sure. But he's a regular dude, like nothing, no crazy business savvy street smarts that I know of. But just he's a regular guy, and he has been crushing it lately. And we knew them when they weren't crushing it. And that wasn't long ago. We just started last year.
It really wasn't. Schwink called me this morning, and me and Schwink were catching up. And when he called me, I was like, "Hey, how's business going?" And he's like, "Yeah, we just put our 21st deal of the year under contract." And I'm like, 21. I'm like I've been saying, we just met them not too long. Like, they came to us for help, and now all of a sudden it's 21 deals deep in a couple months.
But that's a testament to y'all too, because y'all give the advice, and y'all didn't just hoard it for yourselves, right? So, right there, that's just the proof is in the pudding right there. If they reach out to you and you say, "Hey, well, what about this? And this is what we're doing. Maybe it'll work for you." And then they turn around and they're making 21 deals. Like, that's just how it goes.
Well, outside of the real estate is fun guys, shout out to the Jacks family, Jacksonville, Remy and Matt Schwenk over there, Matthew Schwenk. Outside of those guys, what's a notable success story that comes to mind when you think back to your time, in the community? Can you walk us through or share one of those?
Well, as I've been here, right? So Michelle and Paul are obviously a huge success story. Okay. You've got Michelle, who came on, and her story is well known. She's told us, on multiple different avenues, of her story and how she came to Astro. But her story is so profound because she always says, I'm going to take this program, I'm going to do it step by step. And if it doesn't work, then I'm gonna.
There's gonna be some problems.
But I always use that story because it's just a testament to the program. It's just, if you do the program, it will work for you. But one of the ones that I absolutely love and that is close to my heart is the Mahmoud and John, right? So we had two members. They came in at different times, right? Different parts, and they were successful on their own, right? And in their own rights, and they have their backgrounds, and they have, an extensive amount of knowledge between the two of them. And they were doing all right by themselves, right? But then they came to an AstroFlipping mastermind, which is a weekend of highly intense, training and just opening your eyes to different levels at this, world of wholesaling. And they decided, you know what? I'm really good at this. I'm really good at that. And they put their brains together and created a new business. And then now they're booming all over Florida. So you have them. I mean, Sarah Miller. Wow.
Shout out Sarah. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Wow. Right. Peaceful, just incredible spirit. Right. Quiet, but boy, is she a beast.
I was about to say she's quiet, but she
is she a beast. So her, Helena Wu, I mean, I've seen her, from start to finish. Heidi and Pete, there's so many. It's hard to pinpoint one.
All these names that you've named, other than Sarah, have been on the podcast. So we need to get Sarah on. And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, Paul and Michelle, it's Michelle Garabito and Paul Nelson. Those are the two names you're talking about. They're an awesome couple, crazy success. They're in Thailand right now. They get some amazing Airbnb. They travel the world. They live a fantastic life. And they've built a wholesaling business, around their lifestyle. And so it's been incredible because they get to go do whatever they want, when they want, with who they want, at whatever time they want. And they have the freedom and the ability to do that because, like Natasha said, she asked Jamil, "Hey, I'm going to do this step by step. Like, if this works, great. I'm committed to you. We're good. We're, what I mean? I'll sing your praises. If this doesn't work, I'm going to F you up." If you know Michelle Garabito, she's Dominican, like she don't play. And so that's a huge testament. Well, you know, I want to ask you, I always like to talk challenges too. I like to go in the negative a little bit,
Sure.
to kind of express or just get a good understanding of what it is that we're talking about and how it's not all sunshines and rainbows. In terms of the community, what do you think that the community, I'm going to say we, but we meaning Astro, what do you think our biggest challenges right now as a community?
I would say that it is consistency. So consistency is key. If one day you're making 5 phone calls, but the next day you're only making 2, well, that's not going to, if you're not consistent, it's not going to start, being able to be reproduced, and you're not going to get those deals, and you're not going to see the results that you want. It's that consistency, dedication to ourselves, right? If you say to yourself when you get up in the morning, I want to wholesale and I want to be, financially free in 3 years, and this is my goal, you have to commit to yourself and you have to do whatever it is that's going to get you there. So if it's, I need to work on my course for 4 hours a day and make sure I drill that into my head and then I make my phone calls, then do that. If it's, I need to get up and I need to make sure that I'm making those phone calls in the morning and then I'm cutting out some time in the afternoon to make sure that I'm doing my follow-up, be committed, do it. But it is that commitment to being consistent.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or, I mean, if you've got the resources, invest in something like Astro Blaster. I mean, it's a phenomenal system that does the prospecting for you while you're at work.
Yeah.
We use the same system. It's not Astro Blaster, but we use the same system. But it's phenomenal and it works. It clearly works. And so thank you for sharing that. I want to pivot and just kind of, we're gonna I guess land the plane. I'm trying not to say that as much. People keep giving me shit for saying land the plane. You're gonna land the plane at the end. But I do want to start to wrap this up. But before we really go to close, let me ask you. I don't know if you've seen all of the episodes on our podcast. I doubt it. But I'll tell you if we've had them or not. Who would you like to see from our community on another episode of Wholesale Elite?
Well, the easy one, because you told me that you haven't had her, Sarah Miller.
Peter, outside of Sarah.
But let's see.
Who should we have on? Because you know the scoop. You know the story behind the story that we don't know. They could be brand new. They could be, infancy. They could be whatever.
You're right. You called me on it, but I haven't seen all of them. But
it's a tough question.
Yeah,
pressure's on.
Pressure's on. Tell you what, I'll give you time to think about that.
Yeah. Sarah's, I mean, if you haven't, she's incredible.
So. Oh, we're getting Sarah on here for sure. Yeah. She's got her new curly hair now. She can rock that out on the podcast.
If you haven't had Lynn Davis either, if you want a bright sunshine, if you want someone who's been through, some stuff and she's like pushing her way and really making it through, Lynn Davis is another one. She is incredible.
Shout out Lynn Davis. You're getting a message from us soon. So be looking for that, Lynn, if you're listening or watching. Well, Natasha, it's been phenomenal having you on. I don't know if Tanner has anything in closing, but thank you so much for just being an incredible asset to this community. For real. I don't want to say this stuff because it feels like I'm BSing because it's just fluff, but it's so true. I can't really share, but Racky had sent me a message a little while back and I forget what he said, but I remember him saying, "Bro, check out Natasha." And I was like, okay, look at her. And you're just sitting there on the camera. Like there's hundreds of people on our calls, by the way. It's not like there's like 5 of us. Like there's a lot of people on the call.
There are.
But I like to have it up in gallery form so you can kind of see everyone. But then a lot of the times I just pin it to Jamil just because really that's who I'm really curious to hear his insight on and see. But anyways, he's like, bro, look at Natasha. And I look and you're just like, I think someone was telling a story and you're like crying and you can just tell how into it you are and you mean it. And so I was like, it's fascinating. I was like, no, it's not like you think that eyes are on you and you're just putting on a show because you're on a Zoom. Like you really are a sweet, genuine person. You give a damn. Therefore, we all function well and you're a savage. And so I want to tell others that may not know this, but have you ever gone to an ice cream store or something and you're like, God, if I worked here, I would eat everything. Yeah. Or, if I shopped here, God, or if I worked here, I would buy all this stuff. I feel like, man, if I'm the community coordinator for Astro, I'm like a multi-millionaire in the making because I'm hearing all this conversation. I'm seeing all this success. And so I'm curious, like, do you invest yourself?
Yes, we do. So we wholesale on the side, and everything that I do within the community, every connection that I make, if you think about it, I'm literally micro flipping within the community for free.
Wow.
Right? So when I see somebody post and they're like, hey, anybody got anything in Jacksonville? And I'm like, hey, hit up Remy. Hey, hit up this person. Hey, hit up this person, right? I'm literally micro flipping for free.
That's freaking phenomenal.
So yes, we wholesale on the side too. So
AKA back to savage. There you go.
Yes.
Be
savage. Gosh. Well, Natasha, man, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. We'll be at the mastermind obviously in June.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're totally stoked. Looking forward to that one. It'll be our first one. I've held out for a while. I was like, for some reason, I was like, just hold out. Like the universe and God will tell you when the one that your first one should be. And the stars aligned for this last one, like on a weird level. And so it all makes sense. So we're definitely going.
And you know what, this mastermind that we have that's being come together, like the people already that are signed up, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be insane. Like
it's gonna be awesome.
I said that about February and I was super excited. And then I saw the lineup for this one and I was like, oh, they don't even know what's coming. They don't know what's
gonna hit them. I mean, our Airbnb already is nuts. We're behind the scenes, partnering up with certain people. I'm like, all these people are going to our Airbnb? Like, yes. Like this is gonna be awesome.
Oh my gosh. It's gonna be incredible. And it's funny that you mentioned like looking at me on the Zooms because 9 times out of 10, I go back and I look and I'm like, oh my God.
Cringe.
Like, I was like, what was I doing? But it does come from a genuine place. I just love you all so much. Like, I've called you all my Astro babies and, I truly love each and every one of you. The community is not the community and it's not the family without any one of y'all. And it's amazing because y'all are in it. So,
well, we love you. And again, Absolutely. We're so honored for your time and thank you for your energy, that you give to all of us and your effort that you put into the community. You don't have to, it's not like, this is your job. Yeah. But it's like a devotion, this is, it's something that you don't have to do, but we're very grateful for you. And we're super grateful for Jamil with aligning you into that position. And for everyone in the community, shout out to the Astro fam. Again, guys, if you want to learn more about this phenomenal community, it's a phenomenal opportunity to take your real estate business to the next level, gotastro.com. We should have a little thing flash up at the bottom, gotastro. But yeah, gotastro.com and you can, take your business to the next step. Natasha, thank you so much for being on the Wholesale Elite podcast. And guys, we want to see you on the next episode. So go out there, crush it, do what it takes to make it happen. We'll put you in that seat and we'll be asking you the tough questions. So until then, be well. Peace. What up, Elite fan? That's a wrap for today's episode. But look, if you got value out of the show today, do us a huge favor and give us a review or give us a like or subscribe. Do all the things to help us get the word out there. And look, we want to see you on the next show. So get out there and crush it, make it happen. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.